Good day, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Honorable Maji Solomon. Right now, I am going to explain the procedures of test tube babies, in-vitro fertilization, IVF in bracket. Test tube babies, in-vitro fertilization, volume 2. I've written them in the first place. I have written the procedures in the first place. Right now, I am going to explain them one after the other. When a woman's fallopian tube or oviduct is blocked, it is very difficult for the sperm to fertilize the egg. When a man has low sperm count, it is very difficult for the sperm of that man to fertilize the egg in the fallopian tube. Okay? In vitro fertilization has come to their aid. In vitro fertilization has come to the aid of those couples that have problems. In vitro fertilization has come to the aid of those couples that have problems. Okay. Those couples will get in touch with the doctor in order to have children. All right? And the doctor is going to make use of this method, in vitro fertilization. Okay? If those couples are able to make a concrete arrangement with the doctor will start carrying out this experiment, in vitro fertilization, okay, in the laboratory. Okay. The following are the procedures of the test tube babies or in vitro fertilization. Okay? The doctor is going to follow in all these procedures. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. The first procedure is suppressing the natural menstruation or menstrual cycle of a woman. Here, the doctor will give drugs or injection to a woman for 2 weeks. The drugs or injection will suppress the natural menstruation of a woman. The drugs or injection will suppress the natural menstrual cycle of a woman. The drugs or injection will suppress the monthly cycle of a woman. All right? The second procedure, the doctor is going to carry out this second procedure. Okay? Super ovulation. Super ovulation. The doctor will give fertility drugs. Fertility drugs that contain fertility hormones. Fertility drugs that contain follicle stimulating hormones that can make the ovaries, drugs that can make the ovaries to produce more eggs. Fertility drugs that can make the ovary to produce more eggs, the doctor will give the drugs to the woman in the second procedure here, super ovulation. The doctor will give fertility drugs to the woman so that the ovaries will produce more eggs. Okay. All right. Here, in the second procedure, the doctor will advise the husband of the woman in question that he should not have sex for 2 to 5 days or for some days so that the doctor can collect viable sperms from the husband. All right? The doctor will instruct the husband of the woman that do not have sex with anybody for now. I am looking for viable sperms from you. The doctor will say, I am looking for viable sperms from you. Don't have sex for now. Do not have sex with anybody for now. Okay. Super ovulation means the doctor will give fertility drugs that contain follicle stimulating hormones to a woman so that the ovaries of the woman can produce more eggs. Okay. Let us go to the third or third procedure. Retrieval or removal of eggs. Retrieval or removal of eggs or ova from the woman's ovary or ovaries. Here, in the second procedure, the doctor has given drugs to a woman. Drugs that will enable the ovaries to produce more eggs. Okay? Now, the doctor is going to remove those eggs from the ovary or ovaries. Okay? In step 3, in the third procedure. As you can see, third procedure. The doctor is going to remove those eggs from the ovaries. Here, the doctor is going to carry out what we call surgical procedure. He's going to use what we call a thin needle. Thin needle. A thin needle. Thin needle. A thin needle. Okay? The doctor is going to use what we call a thin needle. Okay? A thin needle has suction device that sucks eggs out from the ovary. Okay? The operation here is called follicular aspiration. Alright? The process of removing those eggs from the ovaries is an operation, and it is called follicular aspiration. Okay. The doctor will use what we call thin needle in removing those eggs from the ovaries. Okay. The fourth procedure, the number 4. What is the next line of action? The doctor will invite the husband of the woman to the hospital, telling him to commit what we call masturbation, because the doctor is in need of sperms of the man, of the husband of that woman, because the doctor is about carrying the experiment, in-vitro fertilization. Okay? The doctor is in need of the sperms of the husband of that woman. The doctor is in need of the sperms of the donor. The doctor is in need of the sperms of the partner. Okay? Now, here we have insemination and fertilization. The doctor will invite the husband of the woman to commit what we call masturbation. Masturbation means stimulation of sexual organ like penis, in order to have sexual pleasure. The man in question, the husband, will commit what we call masturbation. Masturbation. The use of hand. To satisfy sexual pleasure. The use of hand. Masturbation means stimulating sexual organs with hand in order to have what we call sexual pleasure. Okay? Now, the man will commit what we call masturbation. There are ways of getting sperm from the man or from the husband. We have electro ejaculation. We have the use of special condom. But the man will commit what we call masturbation. He will masturbate his penis. After a while, he will release. He will ejaculate. And the doctor will collect the sperm from the man, from the husband of that woman. Okay? Now, what is the next line of action? What is the next line of action? Now that the doctor has collected the sperms from the donor, now that the doctor has collected the sperms from the husband of the woman, now that the doctor has collected the sperms from the partner of the woman, what is the next line of action? Okay, here, the doctor is going to use syringe. Look at the sperms that the doctor has collected. Look at it. Okay? Sperms are injected into the bubble. The doctor has injected the sperms that he has collected from the husband or from the man or from the donor or from the partner. Look at the sperm. He has injected the sperms into the bubble. Look at the bubble. Look at the bubble. Look at this one. This one is also a bubble. This one is also a bubble. This one is also a bubble. This is an empty bubble. This is an empty bubble. This is an empty bubble. This one has an egg or ovum. It has an egg or ovum. Bubble that contains an egg or an ovum. Alright? Now, sperms are injected into the bubble by the doctor. Okay? For your information, the doctor can inject a single sperm into the egg. A doctor or the doctor can inject a single sperm into the egg. And that method is called Intra Cytoplasmic Sperm Injection. Intra Cytoplasmic Sperm Injection. Okay. But here, the doctor has injected sperms into the bubble. One of the sperms will fertilize the egg. One of the sperms will fertilize the egg. In this case, there are other sperms in the bubble here, but one will fertilize the egg. Look at the petri dish. Petri dish. Look at the petri. The experiment is carried out in the petri dish. Look at the bubble. This is an empty bubble. This bubble contains an egg or an ovum. Okay? Look at the egg here. An egg or an ovum. An ovum. If it is one, we call it an egg or an ovum. If there are many, we call them eggs or ova. Alright? I have one egg here. For your information, doctor can fertilize 2 or more eggs in the bubble. In the bubbles. Okay? Doctor can fertilize 2 or more eggs in the bubbles. In the what? In the bubbles. In the petri dish. Okay? But here, I am using one egg. I am using an egg. I am using an ovum for the purpose of clarity. Alright? Now that the doctor has injected the sperms into the bubble, look at the bubble, look at the bubble, look at the bubble, look at the egg. Now that the doctor has injected the sperms into the bubble, one of the sperms will fertilize the egg. The nucleus, sperm has nucleus. Egg has nucleus also. The nucleus contains chromosome. Chromosome contains deoxyribonucleic acid, DNA. DNA contains hereditary information in a code form. Alright? Now, the nucleus of the sperm and the nucleus of the egg will fuse together. That is what we call fertilization. Fertilization is the fusion of the male gamete. Male gamete means sperm cell. Female gamete means egg cell. Okay? The fusion of the male gamete and the female gamete is what we call fertilization. For your information, the the tail of the sperm will not fertilize the egg. It is the head of the sperm that will fertilize the egg, leaving its tail behind. All right? Okay. For your information, the doctor can inject sperms into the bubble so that the sperm will fertilize the egg. And another way is this. The doctor can inject a single sperm into the egg. Okay? And we call the method Intra Cytoplasmic Sperm Injection. All right? Now, what is the next line of action? One of the sperms has fertilized the egg. What is the next line of action? This egg, this fertilized egg, we call it fertilized egg, or embryo. Embryo. Not embryo. It is not called embryo. It is called embryo. Okay? This fertilized egg is called embryo because in humans, when an egg is fertilized, after fertilization, 4 days after fertilization, we call the egg has developed into an embryo. Okay? So you can call it a fertilized egg, you can call it an embryo, you can call it a zygote. Alright? Alright. Now that fertilization has already taken place, you know, in vitro fertilization has to do with fertilization that has taken place outside the body of a woman. In vitro fertilization is carried out outside the body of a woman. It is carried out in the laboratory using petri dish and a culture medium, controlled chamber. Okay? Using what we call bubble. Look at the bubble. Look at the bubble. Okay? Now, the egg has been fertilized. The egg is fertilized outside the body of a woman. What is the next line of action? This fertilized egg is called zygote. This fertilized egg is called embryo. Okay? You can call it fertilized egg, fertilized ovum. Okay? Now, the doctor is going to transfer this fertilized egg into the womb or uterus of the woman. We call it womb, not womb. We call it womb. Okay? After a few days, the doctor will transfer this egg to the womb of the woman using what we call catheter. Okay. Okay, now that the egg is fertilized, this fertilized egg is called embryo. We are moving forward. The doctor is going to carry out this procedure, embryo transfer. The doctor is going to transfer this embryo, this fertilized egg, to the womb or uterus of a woman using a thin tube called catheter. Using this instrument. The doctor will use this instrument. The doctor will use this instrument to transfer this fertilized egg, this embryo, to the womb of a woman, to the uterus of a woman. Okay? The doctor will insert this catheter through the vagina to the womb. Here, the egg will be kept. Okay? That's what we call let's say the egg has been transferred. It's here already. The embryo is here already. The fertilized egg is here already. Okay? That's what you call the egg has been transferred. The fertilized egg has been transferred. Okay? The embryo has been transferred already. Look at it here. That's what you call implantation. 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 Implantation is the attachment of the fertilized egg to the wall of the uterus or womb. Okay? This fertilized egg or embryo will stick to the wall of the uterus or womb. Okay? As you can see. Okay. Now, the fertilized egg or the embryo is attached to the wall of the uterus or womb, as you can see. Now, this embryo will start developing from one stage to another. It will remain here for the period of 9 months. By that time, it has developed into a baby. And a woman can give birth to a bouncing baby. The woman can give birth to a bouncing baby when it has fully developed into a baby. Okay? To remain here for the period of 9 months. By that time, it has developed into a baby. And the woman can give birth to a bouncing baby. The woman can discuss with the doctor to carry out what we call cesarean section, otherwise known as CS. She will be operated upon and the doctor will remove the baby from her womb or uterus. We call the method CS or cesarean section. Alright? The woman can give birth. And the woman can make arrangement with the doctor to carry out what we call CS. Okay? Okay, the woman can give birth, or she can ask the doctor to carry out what we call CS, cesarean section. Thank you so much.